Okay guys, so I'm in the shop here with the Monte Carlo. I'm gonna try to do a cut and buff on it. The paint job's kind of old, kind of crappy. When I was real young, I painted it. It doesn't look horrible, but it definitely looks old and tired. So I'm gonna try to cut it, buff it, and bring some life back into it. I'm hoping maybe by the end of this summer, um, maybe I could put a new paint job on it. But right now, it's just going to be a cut and buff because we have a lot of projects getting ready to go to Cruise Week in Ocean City. So uh, let's get into it. Okay guys, so do a little walk around of the car here. Like I said, me and Vince did this about 14 years ago, and it's definitely starting to show its age. Got a bunch of water spots on it. It never was cut and buffed after we painted it, but I figured maybe I could get another couple months out of the paint job, maybe a year if I had to, with doing a little cut and buff, and try to revive it up just a little bit. It's not perfect. There's a bunch of missed spots, trash. It was painted in my garage. The door open because we couldn't shut the door and paint in the garage that I had at my house. So, like I said, it's got quite a bit of orange peel in it. As you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there in the light here, you can kind of see where the orange peel is. But it's got a lot of orange peel, a lot of trash, a lot of missed spots on the base coat, and just a whole bunch of bad scenarios. But all in all, it doesn't look horrible. And I think with a little buffing, I did a little spot back here to kind of proof of concept, and it looks pretty good, I think. So I'm gonna just do that technique all everywhere, just see how it turns out. So I'm gonna get into doing it and enjoy.
So the history on this car is actually pretty unique. Dave was given this car on his 16th birthday by his mom. I helped pick it out, and when we got it, it was this, I don't know what it was with the 80s, but they painted everything in like burgundy or some off red. Brown was a big color in the 80s, and this like vegetable pea green. I have no idea what was going on with their color selection, and that goes for Chrysler, Ford, and Chevy. So when we got this car, it was double burgundy. So it was a burgundy outside with burgundy stripes and a burgundy interior. And there's just not much you can do with that, in my opinion. The paint was just, it was faded, it was nasty. Burgundy has never been one of my favorite colors. So fortunately enough, it was not Dave's favorite color either. So we settled on this ash gray silver with a little bit of metallic, and it was a great color. He liked it, he picked it out, and when we did the car, we were really just going to paint it that color and not have any stripes on it. And Dave was kind of really against the racing stripes. And then one day I come over when he wasn't home, and because we already had the car sealed in black as a seal coat, and I kind of just, I taped one out for him. I taped out the trunk, and I was like, this is what it could look like. And he saw that and he was just like, oh man, that looks awesome. We need to do it. And I was like, yes, that's exactly the response I was hoping for. So we ended up putting the racing stripes on it. But again, we did this when I was in my early 20s and, just young and dumb. And we didn't even do any of the edging. If you open the hood or open the doors, the interior is still burgundy. But we got the paint on and it looked good. But again, we painted it in the garage, wetted down the floor, did all the backwoods shade tree mechanic tricks to try to keep the dust down. But when you're painting in the garage and you have zero ventilation, it can get real bad real quick. So we had to put the door open. So a couple of spots, it's heavy on the clear coat, heavy on the paint. And in a couple other spots, it's light here and there. It's definitely got some road warrior status over the years, a couple scratches here and there. Because none of the cars that we have are trailer queens. They get driven. So you're going to have some chips, some nicks. You're going to have a few little rust spots.
Okay guys, so just a little look at what we've gotten done. Got the hood. A little bit more to do here. Down here still got a good bit of orange peel. We're not looking for perfection. Get all the orange peel out. Still got a little bit right there. But we're not looking to get all the orange peel out of it. We're just looking kind of cut some of the trash and a little bit of it down so that we can get a good shine going on with it. So there's that spot I already did, which I think looks pretty good. So still have the trunk to do and the roof. So stick with me and I'll get set up here and we'll get to doing it.
The goal was this year we were going to paint it at the beginning of the season, and just with the time scheduling and all my stuff not being anywhere close to being done as far as Dave's is, he came up with a decision by himself. He goes, well, we'll cut and buff this and get one more season out of it, and then maybe at the end of the season in the fall sometime we'll go ahead and reshoot it. I have been chomping at the bit to repaint this thing, to semi-redeem myself, to let everyone know that I'm not, a crappy painter. Halfway decent. But as far as this summer goes, with him buffing it, cutting and buffing it, it's definitely going to go a long way. There was definitely orange peel that needed to be taken care of, and there's still a few overspray spots, but when we first painted it, the phrase that got thrown out a lot was, well, you can't see the hair on a galloping horse. So as long as the car's passing you, it looks good. And take it right up on it. But with this buff job, it definitely helped. It came out a hell of a lot better than even I thought it could be. If one thing can be said about Dave is he never does anything 50%. He fully goes in 100%. He's all in all the time. If it's not going to be done right, there's no sense in doing it. That kind of attitude. Whereas me on the other side of the coin is, it's good enough for now. It runs and works. Let's just go with it, and I'll fix it later. And that's just me lying to myself because I never fix it later. It just ends up staying that way until it breaks again, and then I'll fix it the right way if I have time. Which is a really good way to if you're going to have a relationship with someone, that's the relationship you want to have, where you just argue constantly.
All right, guys. So we're going to get ready and start buffing the car. We got it all wiped down with soap and water yesterday. Probably going to hit it real quick with maybe some glass cleaner just to make sure there's no dust or grit left over from the sanding process. And we're gonna start buffing it up. So what we're gonna use today is we're gonna use some 3M heavy cut compound. Then we're gonna use a Meguiar's finer cut compound, and then again Meguiar's polish to finish it out. The first two I'm going to use on a rotary buffer, one with a wool pad, one with a foam pad, and then it's going to be a very light, fine foam pad on the DA to finish it up. So that's what we're going to do, and let's get into it.
We're counting down the weeks to Cruise Week in Ocean City, Maryland this year, and the buffing would actually take less time than a full strip and paint. And the reason that we decided that is because I had to buy a 1940 Ford that in my head should only take a few weeks to get ready to go to Cruise Week, with in reality it's going to take a couple years. So we're trying to condense a few years worth of work into the 40 in just a few weeks. That is the goal, to get the 40 to actually run under its own power, move under its own power, and make it to Ocean City and back. Years ago, when we first started going, we would trailer the cars down, and it's just not as fun, in my opinion. I got to be honest with you. Half the fun is getting the cars ready and actually driving them all the way there, driving while you're there, and then driving back. You get to see a lot of other people that are driving there also that have the same mentality as you, the same idea as you. And it's really cool just to get caught up in a group of, classic cars, and you're all just cruising together.
Alright guys, so round two, we're going to do a medium to fine cut compound on a rotary with a foam pad. So let's get to it. Okay guys, just a little comparison between the first and the second. That's the second. That's after the first step. See how the haze kind of clearing up on it. Looking better. And like that.
Alright, so Dave was definitely pulling double duty this week. Both he and I have multiple jobs apiece. He works for his grandfather for a mushroom conveyor company. So he's constantly running equipment or running crews. I drive during the winter, and then I have my own company where I do property cleanouts and help people get rid of unwanted trash, scrap, whatever it takes. On top of that, if my dad needs me, he does heating and AC, so I try to work with him part-time when I can. It's just a lot to get done. So anytime we're filming this, It's after we've done all that and we have a few hours at night. So Dave usually gets started about 5 a.m. and he's done about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon if everything goes right, which gave him a little bit of time to get the car done, which is why I'm not here. I was able to pop over after I got done work, but unfortunately I was also on call this week, so it just made scheduling a flipping nightmare. But I was able to get over there for 2 nights and at least give him a hand finishing up the rest of it. The reason I say Dave is pulling double duty is because he would work on his car from 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 or 6 when I got done work, and then this was also the week when we were fixing, when we were making the Jeep roadworthy again. So he would work on his car from 1, 2 in the afternoon until 5 or 6, then come over to my shop and help me get the Jeep back on the road. As you're looking at the videos, there's definitely a lot of times where Dave's not in mine and I'm not in his because we were trying to divide and conquer. So as I said before, Dave is a perfectionist by any stretch of the imagination. He wants it done 100% correct. So anytime I get a chance to mess with him, I'll take full advantage of it. He had to come over 3 or 4 times just to tell me how to do it the right way. Even though I knew how to do it, I still wanted to see how angry I could make him. Because I'm an asshole. So. But we've been doing this for so long, he gets the joke. And we were able to get the roof and the hood done. I was able to give his shoulder a break. This is Beth. She is our visual production assistant. Helps us out with what the right angle should be, what we should say, what we should hit on. Definitely an asset.
Okay guys, so we finally got the last part of the puzzle done. We did the very light polish over the whole car. Now we're going to take some Chemical Guys Jet Seal on a red waxing pad. We're going to go over it. We're going to give it 20 minutes. We'll wipe it off. Then we may do another wax with the butter wet wax over top, just because the sealant is just a sealant. It just kind of seals everything from the outside elements, but it doesn't really give that luster that a wax gives. So we'll see how it looks after I get the jet seal on, and then I may go back with butter wet wax and just kind of give it the glow that I'm looking for. So stick with me and we'll get it finished up.
I was nothing more than blown away when I got to see this car after Dave got done with it. He took a half paint job that was done 16 years ago and made it look like glass. And I know there's still some dings in it and some war wounds and some, road rash or what have you on it, but the fact of the matter is, with all that wax and gloss on it, it's going to be great for this summer. It's kept inside. It's never outside in the rain, unless you get caught up in the rain. But just going from the orange peel and the fog to this, it is nothing short of amazing. So I'm hoping that I can convince him to do this to the 40 at some point. This took an incredible amount of time, an incredible amount of prep work. You guys are seeing definitely the pulled down version of it, because nobody wants to watch anyone buff for 17 hours. But the end results are definitely worth the time. And remember, guys, if you like what you saw, please remember to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of our future content. Again, the 40 is coming up. We finally got parts in for that. We're going to be getting that ready. This is all for our push for Cruise Week 2022 in Ocean City. All right, guys, that'll about do it for this episode. We'll see you on the next one. And remember, if it's broken, fix it.